Hello and welcome to 18 WJTS in.form. I'm your host, Bill Potter. Joining us again in the studio is Jan Dougan. She is the Dubois County Educator for Purdue Extension, and trying to get us to live a better life by eating better is one of the many hats that Jan wears. And today, because you used a word I'm not sure of, I'm going to call these persnickety vegetables, but you have a different word.
These are cruciferous vegetables that I brought today with me. And including in that family are the vegetables like cabbage. I've got some broccoli here. We've got some cauliflower. Also Brussels sprouts would be a part of this family. Kale, Swiss chard, those are also included in this family. And these are really important vegetables that we need to be including in our diet.
I think the one probably most people do have in their diet is broccoli.
You think?
Broccoli seems to be pretty popular. A lot of people, it's easy, I think, easy to eat, easy to make. But I don't always think of these other vegetables as easy to cook sometimes.
Not even cabbage?
Well, you steam it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know what? Coming to think of it, I think we've cooked it in different things that we've made, and we've chopped it up and put it in. It's really a good accent. In soup, it's good for that.
Yes, yes.
But tell me about, you talk about these vegetables.
Okay.
How should we eat them?
All right. Well, one of the things we want to share with our viewing audience is that you really need to try to have 1 to 2 servings a week of the cruciferous vegetables. So think about trying to get cabbage. These are the 3 main ones probably: cauliflower, broccoli, or cabbage. Just try to think about targeting getting that once or twice a week. Okay. So you could have coleslaw. You could have, like you mentioned, cabbage is great in a stir fry. Cabbage becomes sauerkraut, or if you have sauerkraut, you're eating cabbage. And actually there's some new information coming out about fermented vegetables and how they are good for us and good for our guts. So, something to keep in mind. Broccoli's great raw. Use it, dip it in salads, cooked. Again, you could steam it. Cauliflower, the same. You could steam it. Cauliflower is good dipped. Cauliflower is good raw. But one of the things I want to share with the viewing audience today is that think about roasting these vegetables. So when we roast, we use our oven.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, what is roasting?
Okay.
What's the best way to look at roasting?
We use our oven at a high temperature. So it could be anywhere. When I look at recipes and directions for roasting, it's anywhere from 400 degrees to 475 degrees. So it's a really hot oven. Some recipes recommend that you preheat your shallow pan, like a broiler pan, prior to putting the vegetables on. Some you just put the vegetables on, stick it in the oven. I think roasting is a really easy technique to use. I think you really can't fail when you roast, so it's a good thing to try. By that high heat, we actually bring the sugars out that are in the vegetables, so they're going to taste a little different. It's more like caramelizing, kind of, if you want to think about it that way. But I really think if people haven't tried it, and you think, oh, I really don't care for these type of vegetables, you might want to give roasting a try and see if you like it. Now the cabbage, a really easy way to roast cabbage is just to slice it into 1-inch slices. So you have like wedges, round wedges, okay? Put a little olive oil on the cabbage, maybe, which is a heart healthy oil, right? Not butter. We want to add the olive oil. A little salt and pepper. Hold on the salt, not a whole lot, but pepper. Or if there's other seasoning that you like, you might want to add that to the cabbage. And then you just want to put it in that oven at, let's just say 425 degrees in the shallow pan. About 15 minutes, flip it over, another 15 minutes, and you'll have roasted cabbage. So that's easy.
Well, that is really easy, and I'll bet it's really good.
Yeah, it's tasty.
Before we go on, I'm going to ask, and to me, I don't know the difference. Is there a difference between baking and roasting? Is it temperature?
Yes, it's temperature.
Okay.
Usually when you bake, it's not at that high a temperature.
Okay.
Okay?
So when we talk roasting, we're talking mostly anything above 400 degrees roughly.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that sounds like a really easy way to eat cabbage.
Very easy way.
And cabbage is not expensive either.
Cabbage is economical. Cabbage is packed with fiber that we need, vitamin C in cabbage. We don't think of vitamin C in cabbage, but it is. You know, and when it gets to be cold season, that kind of thing, you know, it's good to keep that vitamin C up to try to help keep you healthy. All these vegetables are filled with the phytonutrients. Those are the ones that fight off chronic disease. So we want to try to incorporate more of those. You know, we've talked many times that half our plate should be vegetables. So if you put a chunk of cabbage on your plate, you're helping to fill that plate with those good foods that we need to be eating.
Well, and I like cabbage, so that would be a good way to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of cauliflower, but maybe it's because for me, I don't like boiled cauliflower. Cauliflower when it's raw in a dip is not one of my favorite things, but you can roast cauliflower?
Sure, you can roast cauliflower also. So, you know, that's what I find in talking with people. A lot of people, one of the reasons they're not eating vegetables is because growing up, they were cooked to death, let's say.
Okay.
Yes. They were cooked so they were so soft and so mushy, or, you know, that they just fell apart. And so, you know, they really don't like them because of that. So when you roast, things are going to be cooked, but they're going to have a little bit of crunch to them. And then because of that flavoring that's brought out by the roasting process, they're going to be really tasty. So you can do the same thing with cauliflower. You can break it into the cauliflowerettes, the little flowerettes, and you can slice those in half so they lay flat on a pan. Put them in a roasting pan and 425, probably 15 minutes. Stir them, mix them up, another 15 minutes, and they'll probably be done. You can put different kinds of toppings on them if you want. I know a really popular way to do this right now is put a little wing sauce on them when you roast them.
Yeah.
So that gives them a little hot flavor. But you can use any kind of seasoning you want on that. But a little olive oil, a little pepper, a little seasoning, it's really yummy.
What about broccoli? How do you roast broccoli? Do you need to break it up too?
Well, broccoli, when you look at broccoli and you know that we have spears, if you just cut down through the broccoli and the spear like that, and then you sort of have a flat side, so you can lay that on the pan. What I like to do with broccoli is, in fact, when I roast a lot of these vegetables, to save me time on cleanup, I like to put a piece of foil down in my pan, and then I like to stick my pan in the oven while it's preheating and get my pan really hot. So then when I prepare my broccoli, I cut it down through the spear, I'll put it in a bowl, I'll toss it with a little olive oil. Sometimes even broccoli or these other vegetables, I might sprinkle just a little bit of sugar on it. Okay. We're not talking about even a tablespoon. You know, just probably a teaspoon or a half a teaspoon of sugar. Just sprinkle a little bit on there and a little pepper on there. And then when the pan's hot, throw it in the pan. And then broccoli will be done in about, probably 5 to 10 minutes, depending upon the size of the spears I put in there, turning it once. So it doesn't take very long to cook it, because you want it cooked, you want it so that it looks a little brown, but then you also want it a little bit crunchy.
Okay.
So that will complete the broccoli process.
Well, you said, you know, a little brown. So,
yeah.
So
it's
will the
gonna
cauliflower,
get brown.
will the
it's gonna
cabbage
get,
looking brown?
Yeah.
Not burned, browned.
It's going to be brown. Now,
okay. Sometimes I don't know the difference between burned and browned, or at least that's what my wife tells me.
Well, you know, Brussels sprouts is also in this family, and they're gaining in popularity. I'm seeing a lot of recipes for Brussels sprouts. I'm seeing a lot of people that are buying and purchasing Brussels sprouts. And actually, when I roast Brussels sprouts, I like to clean them. So all these vegetables we're going to have to wash. Not with soap and water. We're going to rinse with water.
And a little brush.
And a little brush, if necessary, to make sure they're clean, and then cut them up. Brussels sprouts, sometimes you have to take that little outer coating off, the outer leaves off if they look bad. When you go to purchase, you really want to purchase things that are white for the cauliflower, bright green for the broccoli, and cabbage. You want to make sure that there's, that it looks healthy, that it's not brown or it looks like it had insects in it or anything like that. And then the Brussels sprouts too, you want to make sure that there's no yellowing. You don't want to see any yellowing on the broccoli either, because that's a sign of maturity and a sign of older vegetables. So those aren't going to taste as good. So start by buying quality produce to begin with, and you're going to have good quality produce that you serve. The Brussels sprouts, you take that little covering off. I like to chop them in half because I really like them brown. I like them all. Some people would say they look burnt, but that flavoring in that is really yummy with the Brussels sprouts.
These are easy. This is an easy way to make this
Very
food.
easy.
Because when you roast it, you just put it in the oven. In the wintertime, it makes it warm.
Right.
It warms up your house. You save energy.
If you're doing this when it's cooler outside, you can turn on that oven and heat it up, and you've got some produce that you can cook really quickly. It's done in 30 minutes and on the table for a hungry family.
Okay, now I have to get meat in here somehow. So let's say
Sure.
I'm roasting a roast.
Sure.
I guess you roast a roast. And you're going to do vegetables too. You can put them in with the roast. I know that's one way.
Sure.
But could you get your roast going, and a roast may take 4 hours, but maybe in the last half hour you can put these in?
Sure.
Do you need to add a certain amount of time because you're putting another element into your oven?
No, and I get that question at the extension office, Bill, but no, you do not. You do not have to add more time to your timing that you're using if you add another tray into the oven.
Okay, I'm glad to know that because I would have thought you would have to.
But
Good
you
to
know
know.
what? Another way you could do it is if you want, you could put your roast in your slow cooker in the morning before you leave for work, and then that part is done, and then all you have to do is pop this part in the end, and you've got a great supper.
Sounds like a great idea. I'm going to start eating more persnickety fruit. No, what?
Cruciferous.
Cruciferous.
Vegetables.
Okay, add that to your
Cruciferous
diet.
vegetables.
Yeah, we'll need to put that on the TV screen so we know how to spell cruciferous. All
Well,
right.
it comes from the Latin word that means flower, and so all of these all of these have a flower that looks like a cross.
Okay.
So that's why they're all in that same family together. Very similar in plants.
Add that to your diet. Easy to roast them. I may try that tonight. Jan, thank you very much for coming in and joining us for WJTS in.form. Jan Dougan has been our guest. Add more vegetables to your plate. You will enjoy it. Thank you for watching.